What's going on, good people? Here's the third freaking news video for Destiny 2 today. So Bungie dropped this today. This is to let you know about ability tuning coming in Lightfall. I'm a little tired, so if this does save you some time, help me out with a like. Turn the bell on, you know? Alright, y'all. Let's get into it. Alright, so they basically talked about all the changes they made to abilities up till now. I'll save you some time and I'll go into what they are doing. So they say we'd also like to take this opportunity to detail a few ability specific changes coming with Lightfall. This is not a comprehensive list, which as always will be found in our patch notes, but it represents a portion of the major changes we're making. As we've introduced more objective game modes into Crucible with Zone Control, Iron Banner, Fortress, and Capture Trials, it's become clear that Ward of Dawn, listen my Titan people, is overperforming. We don't want to reduce its functionality in PvE content, and in general, we want Ward of Dawn to be a strong option when you need to lock down a point on a map. But we're making a few changes to make dislodging players from a Ward of Dawn more realistic. This is what they're doing. Ward of Dawn maximum health reduced from 13,500 to 8,000. Damage dealt to the ward by PvE combatants has been reduced to compensate. In general, Ward of Dawn's effective health in PvE should not be meaningfully changed. Standardize the damage dealt by each type of kinetic and energy weapon against the ward itself. Previously, energy weapons did 2.5 times damage to ward, and kinetic weapons did 1 times. Now, regardless of the damage type, all weapons do 1.5 times. And Armor of Light has been updated to reduce its potency in PvP. So the maximum health reduced from 425 to 300. And it now inherits Void Overshield's 50% PvE damage resistance and no longer negates precision damage. Ooh. Well, can y'all guess what Titan Soup is coming next? Dum dum dum. Similarly, Thunder Crash is currently proven to be too difficult to counter or escape in high-level Crucible modes. Our goal with these changes is to bring it in line without compromising on its fantasy of allowing you to beat a missile. This also felt like a good opportunity to give Fist of Havoc a damage boost against PvE targets. Oh boy, alright, this is what's changing. Reduce maximum flight time from 5 seconds to 4.5. Reduce size of the damaging volume around the player while in flight by 20% and pushed it further forward in front of the player to make flyby disintegrations more intentional. Descent now begins earlier in flight. Reduce landing detonation size versus players by 20% and is unchanged versus PvE targets. And Fist of Havoc is getting a 20% damage PvE increase. So what does that mean for Thunder Crash? You get to fly for half a second less. Your flight cone of damage, like the cone of what you detect and hit somebody when you're flying, is going to be smaller by 20%, and it's going to be directly in front of a Titan. And you go down lower, and your crash zone is going to be smaller by 20%. Alright, Arc 3.0's Spark of Resistant Fragment is achieving our intended goal of making close range combat safer to engage with, but it's a bit too easy to keep rolling throughout an entire PvE encounter or Crucible skirmish. So here's what they're doing. Increase nearby enemy count required for activation from 2 to 3. Reduce linger time after you're no longer surrounded from 4 seconds to 2 seconds. And now we're moving on with Solar. With Solar 3.0, the increased daybreak duration provided by Dawnblade's attunement of Flame Path was removed, which has left daybreak in a lackluster place. Nah, homie, daybreak. Daybreak has been in a lackluster place, let's be honest. In PvE, P and E, in my opinion. What do y'all think? With Lightfall, in addition to the cooldown reduction detailed above, we're reducing its attack cost and increasing its damage output against PvE targets. Alright, so this is what's actually happening. Super energy cost reduced from 10% to 6.5 per swing and increased PvE damage by 25%. Okay. Phoenix Dive has also struggled to find a solid role in most gameplay styles, and it's too difficult to justify picking over healing or empowering Rift, so we're making changes. Base cooldown reduced from 82 seconds to 55 seconds. While Heat Rises is active, Phoenix Dive's restoration duration increased from 1 second to 3 seconds, and while Daybreak is active, Phoenix Dive's cooldown is significantly reduced, allowing for rapid reactivations. While Daybreak is active, Phoenix Dive's detonation maximum damage increased from 80 to 220? Alright. Are y'all gonna start using Phoenix Dive more? Let me know. Alright, y'all might like this though. Starting in Lightfall, physics collision damage will no longer be lethal to Guardians. You heard that? Fall damage will still be lethal when Lightfall launches, but we plan to also make that non-lethal in a mid-season update. You'll still take damage from physics collisions, but it will generally leave you at 1 HP instead of outright murdering you. So stomps won't be as deadly? That's a good thing, right? Alright, new tools in the arsenal. As part of our build crafting enhancement in Lightfall, we'll be adding some new fragments to the light subclasses and updating a handful of fragments on Solar and Void. Here are the details. For Arc, Spark of Instinct is new. When critically wounded, taking damage from nearby enemies emits a burst of damaging arc energy that jolts targets. And Spark of Haste is new. You have greatly increased resilience, recovery, and mobility while sprinting. Alright, for Solar, Fire Sprite is new. Fire Sprites are created by a suite of new and existing solar fragments and grant grenade energy on pickup. Amber of Mercy is new. When you revive an ally, you and other nearby allies gain restoration. Picking up a Fire Sprite grants restoration. Amber of Resolve, another new one. Solar Grenade Final Blows cure you. Now, this is changes to existing. Amber of Temporary now creates a fire sprite on solar weapon kills while active, in addition to its original effects. Ember of Combustion now creates a fire sprite on solar super defeats in addition to its original effects. And Ember of Searing now creates a fire sprite when defeating scorched targets in addition to its original effects. Now let's move on to Void. Here's a new one, Void Breach. Void breaches are created by a selection of new and existing void fragments and grant class ability energy on pickup. Echo of Cessation is new. Finisher final blows create a burst of void damage that causes nearby enemies to become volatile. Defeating volatile targets creates a void breach. Echo of Villages? Echo of Vigilance. Defeating a target when your shields are depleted grants you a temporary void overshield. Echo of Domineering, these are getting changes. Now creates a void breach when defeating suppressed targets, in addition to its original effects. Echo of Harvest now creates a void breach when defeating weakened targets with precision damage, in addition to its Echo of Starvation now grants Devour on picking up a void breach. In addition, Alright, so if you don't know what this fire sprite, all this stuff means, a void breach and all that, y'all need to check out the video I did on the build crafting update, a huge changes coming to just the way that our subclasses, all of that works. So I will put that in the card and I will link that in the description. If this saves you some time, please hit me with a like. What does it hurt you? Subscribe to the channel, throw the bell on, all notifications. I try my best to save y'all time and keep it going. Thank you for supporting though. I appreciate it. I'm tired. I'm gonna get out of here.